Hi, Maria, back with another video. It is 11:17 a.m. It is November 10th, 2019, Sunday morning, and I've just been doing some cooking in the kitchen. My food usually lasts me for about 3 days. Three or four, but I just like to cook something and then kind of eat off of it. I'll have leftovers. I'm the kind of person, I'm kind of a creature of habit. I'm not really original or explorative. I am very explorative when it comes to different foods, okay, but I don't like preparing stuff. I really don't. So I just make things that are real basic, but still, it's easy for me that way. I don't know, it's just easier. Anyway, so I was thinking today about the bullying that I've had to deal with all my life. And now I see that there's a correlation between, how I behave and the behavior that I was exhibiting when I was a younger kid, And I remember, I never really put it together. Like, I really seriously thought that my siblings were just bratty. Like, they were just, typical kids. That was my interpretation of what was normal. People get your siblings. You have your good times. You have your bad times. Every once in a while, you get in a little riffs, okay, but you make up or whatever. So I never really thought about it because I was too focused on other things. I remember people telling me that I was abused all the time, or trying to give me these little messages like, your family's kind of this way, they're kind of that way. People would say really messed up things about my middle sister, just my ex-sister. I just remember people trying to let me know. I do, and then as I get older and putting all this stuff back and piecing the pieces together, I do remember, every time we were in a group of kids, like the things that my ex-sister Lisa would do, I wouldn't even be doing anything, okay? But I notice remembering things. I remember she would do things to me, to try to hurt me in front of a group of people. It was extremely obvious back then. Now, it's more covert with their doing things like working things behind the scenes with employers and stuff like that. But growing up, I do remember her pulling my pants down in front of this kid that I had a little crush on, And, it was other things like that. And then I also noticed that, if I had a friend, she would steal that friend or kept saying things, well, she's my friend now. It was always this competition thing. I just passed it off as kid stuff, but people on the outside saw that this was, incorrect behavior. And oftentimes the scapegoat doesn't realize they're the scapegoat until they get about older. They usually find out in their 30s. Okay, I was a little bit later than that. But I do recall, when I was a kid having nervous issues when certain things occurred. Like every time there was a gathering of people, I wanted to get the fuck out of there. Only because somehow or another, I know in my mind it was like an instant thing. Like when there's a gathering of people, my family is going to treat me bad. So I didn't want to deal with it. So I realize, now, how these people literally, there's something mentally off with them. And the right combination of people, what I mean by the right combination of people? The right combination of people who have this sort of behavior, which is a lot. You got this narcissistic people, you got the religious element into it that throws people into this, following mood or mindset, right? It can be dangerous. It can be very dangerous. And so, when a person, my parents always told me, my mother always especially told me, right? When you leave the house, what you do is your own business. When you're 18 years old, you can do what you want. You know what I mean? And when I left them, I literally thought, okay, I didn't think about me leaving them specifically. I just figured, well, I need to raise my kid and do my shit, okay? Because my first priority at this point is me and my kid, right? Duh. So it's not thinking about that. Because there's certain things that happen in your adulthood, right? That immediately puts something else as a priority. For example, when a man marries a woman, his family, and this is what the Bible says too. His former family, yes, they're important to him, right? But his main concern is his wife. In my case, I had a child, so my main concern was keeping a roof over that child. You know, so I wasn't really thinking so much about them. I just figured, but I did consider the fact that I would stay here in this town because it was still close enough to the town that I was raised in. Okay, it wasn't that far away. So I figured if and when I went to go see them, it was kind of a quick, travel. So I did take that into consideration, but I didn't think anything of me having to feel like I was obligated to follow some stupid belief system that to me is just utterly retarded. I'm not saying Christianity is in a whole. I'm just saying this particular sect, at least the one that Tanya and Jim are associated with, is a little wacko. Okay, but anyway. Or I think maybe they might be just people who take certain things to the extreme. Maybe everyone in their church might be normal. Okay, but these people might have their own thing. They might be affiliated with this particular church because it gives them a sense of superiority, and also because it's a group. You're still part of a group, And then sometimes people, when at home, when they break away from their religious group, they start twisting stuff into their mind. You know what I mean? And you'll see this kind of mental illness with a lot of people. Some people who think, well, I'm going to do a holy death, or I'm going to kill a bunch of people, and because in my mind something twisted off happened, they interpreted something weird or something. I don't know, whatever. He's got his own way of dealing with things, but Tanya is his wife. I'm not. Okay, so I never made any agreements, which I've already talked about this before. Okay, but the thing is, I don't have to justify my behavior. This is the bullying mentality of these people, okay? I don't have to justify my behavior, my lifestyle, my choices, the things I do, where I go, what I eat, I don't have to justify. What in your mind makes you think that I have to? It's because of this bullying mentality, It's like the only thing that bonds this wicked crew together is their united hatred or abuse of me. That's it, okay? So it really seems like it's unreal, or just like unbelievable to me, that they would even think that I would want to ever forgive them. They should know, that this sort of betrayal is one of those unforgivable things. It immediately makes me disgusted. Now, what I will say though, was always aware that. I always felt a little nervous every time I did visit my family. There were rare moments that I'd visit them, but I would always have to be mentally prepared to do so. And the reason why is because their lifestyle is completely opposite to mine. Okay, I respect that. I figure, we're all adults. This is how they live their life. I'm so glad when I go home that I don't have to deal with their stuff. Okay, that's exactly how I felt when I would go to my sister Lisa's house. Okay, my sister Lisa is the kind of person, my ex-sister Lisa, she's the kind of person that takes all day to do things. Okay, that's why I'm not trying to cut her down. It's her time, it's her house, it's her life. She does what she wants to do. Okay, but she's the kind of person it takes her forever to do something. Okay, and I'm the kind of person, when I get up in the morning, especially back in the 90s, I get up, I'm hitting the ground running. I want to go out to those garage sales, because back then, people were having garage sales like around when the sun got up, okay? So like if you can get there early, you're going to get the best stuff, right? I'm excited about doing this. And I was the kind of person, I'm going to want to do something, I'm going to do it right then and there. Go get her, like that's me. So we'd make plans to do things, and then I'd get there, and she was really, really slow and sluggish, and then hours would go by. I'm sitting here waiting, and I kept thinking, what? This is not for me. Okay, I am an autonomous person by choice. You know what I mean? I don't want baggage in my life. Now, I put up with it because it's a certain appointment or an engagement that I have with my sibling. We made an arrangement to go garage sale shopping or whatever. So, it was that one day that I was inconvenienced. I don't want you inconveniencing my life forever. Okay, that's one day. Okay, or there was a bunch of other times when that would happen. Okay, but do not, it's obnoxious. What you're doing is obnoxious. Okay, and it's like, it violates me, because you easily violate people because you don't have any regard for who they are as a person. You don't think that a person has any feelings. Or maybe because you thought that because I had an attraction to Stephen Lyles, that because he had a mental disability, I had a disability. So therefore you can dehumanize somebody easier. And it doesn't seem to matter to you because you don't think they can understand that. You know? That's wicked. That's evil. You know what I mean? It's evil to be that way. You know, to sit there and assume that you have some sort of mentally disabled family member, whether it's mentally disabled, like you can't read or write, which obviously I can, but I'm just saying, or you have some sort of mental disability where you experience delusions or something like that, somebody who's sick, who needs help, and you're going to sit there and put them in the middle of some sort of chaos. Okay, something is wrong with you. Why? What's wrong with you? Because you're a bully. And the people who around you who accommodate your bullying behavior, you know, they've been trained on this sort of stuff. That's my point. I mean, so many things have been confirmed. My beliefs, my view of the world, how things operate, especially in the workplace, okay? Everything I'm pointing out these errors, okay, that are creating all kinds of problems. You know, it's funny because I had mentioned before, you know, about the bullying issue. Bullying, when you're dealing with a mobbing issue, is so out of control that they don't recognize they're bullying when they're bullying you. They don't recognize it. They just think, oh, you know, I'm just doing this for her sister. She's here. You know, we hired her because maybe one of her sisters arranged this job or whatever. And the reason why they arranged this job is because they got to monitor everything she does because she had a kid when she was out of wedlock. And some guy who's stalking her, I believe Stephen Lyles, right, is stalking her. So therefore, we have to sit here and like basically babysit Marie, which is bullshit, right? Some other garbage, I don't know, you know, whatever that issue is. But the thing is, I don't care what kind of person my family thinks that I am. Okay? Now, obviously, I've done nothing that these people accuse me of, except for have a child out of wedlock and have personal behaviors and habits that I have every right to have as an American citizen. And after the age of 18, especially not living under the roof of my mother's house, I have the right to do. Okay? But you don't think about my rights because you dehumanize people. Okay? And you don't think about it. And I've given this example before, but you know how like sometimes you're watching a TV show or a movie about a kid who's being bullied. Let's just say there's a kid who's got like Coke bottle thick glasses or something. They look kind of goofy. You've seen them. And then when you look at their eyes, they look super big. And sometimes they even look like they're going in a different direction because it makes them look crazy, right? Goofy, right? Well, kids like that get bullied, right? But if you saw this being acted out on a thing, and most people have sympathy for the kid. They're like, oh boy, that's sad. Poor little kid. You know, he's going to school every day and people are harassing him, telling him to stop wearing those goofy glasses and doing stuff that really, you know, he has a right to do. And a part of some of the things that he's doing is beyond his control. Okay, but whatever the case is, this is his being. This is who he is. This is what he's dealing with. This is the way it is. Okay, he has every right to be that person and wear his goddamn Coke bottle glasses if he wants or / needs to. Okay, but you got these kids that want to make fun of him, trip him, do this stuff. And then so when you're watching these movies, so many of the people that got involved with my targeting are watching these movies and they're getting teary-eyed. They'd be upset. Oh, it's so sad for that boy, right? But they're willing to throw somebody out of a job, okay, and do everything they can to make sure that you don't ever get a decent job or control or be bullied, continually, perpetually bullied by somebody, right? For frivolous reasons that could only be for bullying. You know, I remember when I was working over at the orthopedic, I don't know what the fuck that place was, over on the 21st Street, okay? The manager was Joanna. I don't care about mentioning names anymore because I'm so angry and I know that I'm never going to get justice, so I don't really give a flying rip, right? Because the way I look at it, I have every right to be mad. But I remember, you know, there was a time where I was there, and it was a little bit before after I started, and she was sitting down with me, and she was trying to extract information from me. And, you know, the thing is, then she went into the spiel about how, you know, she there was a girl who worked there at one time, and she ended up leaving because people were bullying her. Okay, so she was acknowledging the fact that she didn't think it was right that people were bullying her, and she was saying how it was a terrible thing that was going on, but she was bullying me. Now, when I left there, because I wanted to find something different, okay, I kept feeling I don't like the atmosphere of where the places that I'm ended up going. And it's not because I'm nitpicky, it's not because I can't get along with people, because I can get along with anybody. Anybody, okay? From somebody to the creepiest person to the most holiest person to somebody who lives a debaucherous lifestyle, because I'm the kind of person, I really am just open and I'm cool and I can get along with everybody. Seriously. All right? So the guy calls Joanna for a job reference, and he said that she sounded really snotty over the phone. Like, the job reference she was giving, she was like, I don't know what she said, but he just said that her tone sounded like, and I know that tone was most likely encouraged by my sister. I'm sorry, Joanna, I have the right to wear whatever I want to wear to work. Okay? Obviously, I remember you went over the standards of what was acceptable, what kind of size heel was acceptable, with the width of it. The reason why you even told me, I was in those guidelines. Okay, I was in those guidelines. All right, and I just feel, and first of all, I really shouldn't have been there in the first place because I didn't want to work part-time. But this was their little arrangement. This is what they want you to do. Maybe my ex-brother-in-law thought, well, she's I'm the man, this is so warped, okay? Because I swear to God, I would never, that's like the blind leading the blind. Do you honestly think that I would willingly say, I'm going to let this man, have any sort of say in my life? One thing, I never thrashed my family, but the one thing I did know is that I didn't think he was a very intelligent person. Okay? Even when I first met him, I was accepting the fact that he was with my sister. I figured whoever makes my siblings happy, then they choose their person. I'm not going to trip on it. Okay? But you best believe that my dad did. Okay? And back then, my only observation and my limited experience in life, I could honestly say that would I want a man to treat me the way that I noticed how he treated my sister? The answer would be no. Okay? No, it wouldn't be. I knew that much. So I in the back of my mind, it's like, he didn't fall into the category of the kind of person that I would swoon over. He didn't fall into the category of somebody that I would respect. He didn't fall into the category of somebody that I thought was what the typical high class, high society white man that we depict on TV. Like, the guy who's got every fucking thing. But obviously, I never cared about those sort of things when it came to marriage or love or anything like that. That was never an issue with me. Now, I remember my mom telling me I was supposed to do that, so I kept thinking, well, I guess I got to find somebody who's like that. Because I kept thinking, well, it was a long story, okay, back in the day. But as I got older, I was like, that shit doesn't really matter to me. But it was something that was encouraged to marry somebody with money. Obviously, my dad knew that Jim had no money. So he wasn't happy about that at all. He wasn't happy with the fact that Jim got dishonorably discharged from the military. So back then, when people had a sense of patriotism about them, which I notice is declining in this country, right? It's ridiculous. But anyway, people had this thing where, you served your country and then you ended up losing your military status based off something that was stupid or disrespectful. That was something that kind of counted against you. So my dad didn't like him. And then the fact that he would talk about his religion like it was his savior, and then, all this other stuff, and, and it was pathetic, in my dad's opinion. And as an adult, now I look back and I'm thinking, it is fucking pathetic. No, whatever the reason why he got dishonorably discharged from the military, I don't give a fuck, okay? Because to me, everybody does bad things or makes mistakes in their life. But, I knew this information, but never held it against him. I didn't think, well, Tanya shouldn't walk down the aisle with him. But now I can see why Tanya shouldn't have walked down the aisle with him, though. I can see why she shouldn't have, as an adult, okay? But I don't really give a fuck about her or Jim, okay? And that's not my nature. Of course, I'm the kind of person, I know how to love people. I know how to show love to people. If I care about them, I will lavish you like you will never believe. Okay, like if I have a good friend, that good friend is like that. She's my buddy. Okay, and I show that as much as I possibly can. You know, I'm more, affectionate than people think that I am. But the thing is that I'm never around people that are worthy of my affection because they are associated with these fucktards that I fucking hate at this point. But yeah, it's bullying. Okay, get back to this situation, this subject. And I kept thinking, this issue is so deep. Like, I think about how bullying is something that people are not aware of what they're doing. You don't have the right to badger somebody or spread campaigns to prevent somebody from doing something. This is because it's your personal preference that you don't like. It's my right to eat apples at my desk. It's my right to groom my hair how I see fit. Okay? And I know we've talked about this before, and the fact is, I shouldn't even have to be in a position to explain that to you. Because number one, I never asked you, never invited you into my life. Not that closely. I figured I'd see you around Christmas time, every few Christmases or whatever. That was good enough for me. But anyway, that bullying behavior thing is, it's really something. And I realize how barbaric people are. It's barbaric. It's so backwards. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm tired of people, my family. Like when I was younger, I knew that I wasn't really happy around them. And I remember the chaos that they created, like, at certain jobs where I actually left, on good terms, mind you, but left on my own accord. The reason why I left on my own accord or just was looking for something else is because these people they were infiltrating my shit. People were becoming stupid. They were acting, rude, whatever, out of no good reason. So it's like, whatever. And it's not me. It's not me. Okay? It's you. Just like in the school days, you're in my workplace. You don't play those kind of games at work. When it comes to work, it's serious, okay? And you start these little competitive games that should never be played. Like this, what do you call it? This sports that I personally think Jim Culligan initiated, unnecessarily. I never asked you for shit. Ever. I never asked you for a goddamn thing. You were, my sister's husband, my ex-sister's husband, and that was the extent of it. I never valued your opinion. I never thought that you were cool. I never thought, that, you were important enough to ask for anything. That's not trying to hurt your feelings. It's just that to me, you were somebody that my sister hung out with. She ended up eventually marrying you, and that was it. You didn't have that kind of importance in my life. You were like in the background of everything. Especially in high school. By that time, I was like, ooh, disconnect. I can't stand what's around me. I didn't quite understand why, mind you. But I started to formulate more into who I am now. I kept thinking, I don't like this. I don't like this about society. I don't like this. I don't like this. I started to really figure my things out, And by high school years, it was like, fuck this. Like, I don't want to deal with you guys. And I know you're creating problems in high school. Everything was going on with me in high school was a result of this bizarre shit that you've got going. Probably started off with the whole Jehovah's Witness thing, and you, throughout the years, fell with me or whatever. It's enough already. Just like I wanted to flee all the bullshit, situations that I got into, that I was forced into because of your infiltration. The same thing now. And that's one of the reasons why I kept thinking, okay, I don't know how long I'm going to be dealing with what I'm doing with right now. But I'm putting up with it. You know what I mean? I don't have a choice. I'm doing what I need to do. Okay? We don't need to go into it because you already know what I'm talking about. But, the thing is that you are zapping my life away. I am 48 years old. Okay? You literally taken many years of my life and threw them into the trash can for your own entertainment. Okay? I had, I was doing good over at Organized Sports, you know, and then the first few months I was happy there. Even though it was dark and gloomy inside, I figured they should do something about the lighting because it was really affecting people's moods. You know, it affected my moods. Okay, I don't like dreary places. Okay, but that was really the only thing I could complain about. Okay, and then you start your bullshit. You start your bullshit, the nitpicky bullshit, talking about my physical appearance. I'm sorry if you don't like it. Okay, but I have the right to be who I wanted to. And besides, I never agreed to accept jobs based on a certain term or a job agreement because I never went into a contract with you guys. Okay? Just because you are my family members, my ex-family members, which I love saying that, doesn't give you any legal rights. You know? And then what shocks me is that there's people who were dumb enough to think that. You know? And I went into it already, but, you know, I have made a decision that I don't like who you are. I don't like what you are. I understand that narcissistic people can't be transformed, you know. And I know this, and I have had confirmation of the fact that you can't be transformed. You're always going to have this need to pick at me because you feel like I'm so different than you that I can't be the person that you used to abuse anymore. So you want to always keep me in a situation where you can abuse me. You know what I mean? And so you're always going to be that way with me because we are that different. We are that complete different people. We don't mesh well. We don't belong together. Okay, I'm not the kind of person that believes in working on relationships. You know, sometimes husbands and wives, they got to work on their relationship, and it's like, why deal with shit you can't work with? That's my saying. It's like if you're not really sure about something, or you know that this person repulses you, you know that they displease you every minute of the day, why be around them? Okay, I have a choice. Okay, and this is much different than marriage. Okay, marriage is a long, drawn-out contract thing. You got to go sign. You know, you get your divorce papers, which I have. I'm divorced now. But with, you know, severing ties with siblings, when you leave home, by the time you're 18, we don't need this. I don't want it. By choice, you know, I was thinking about chance and choice today. Like, it was by chance that I was raised in this family. As an adult, I have a choice. And I choose not to acknowledge you as my family. That's my choice. Okay, because I would rather face the cold, hard world than have to understand that some monsters like you had anything that I have. It saddens me to know that we have the same blood running through our veins. It sickens me. Okay, that's how much I fucking hate you. That's the way it is. I fucking hate you. For always and eternity. And don't think that just because you see in your mind, you think because somebody was born out of the same womb that you came out of, that you've got some. I don't give a fuck about what happens to you. I don't. You know, I believe in giving love and care to the people who deserve it. Sure, and you're going to say, oh, well, we helped you out with this. We gave you this job. You treated me like shit all along the way. You gave me the job to do what? For your own entertainment? So you can build me up so you can knock me back down again? Is that your game? You've done nothing for me. You wasted my time. Okay? That's all you've done for me. So don't expect me to love you. Don't expect me to say, oh, I'm going to do this. And stop trying to put me in situations where you feel you're trying to make it so like I have no choice. Okay? Because that right there is human trafficking. My everyday is human trafficking. Okay? My existence is human trafficking. All of it. Is it pleasant? Human trafficking is a huge crime. Do you think that this is my little environment is comfortable for me? Because everybody I know that comes in contact with me who says or talks to me in any way, especially if they come after they've spoken to you, to me is nothing more than a demon. Okay? It's a reminder of the shit, the years, the decades of shit that I had to endure from you guys. Okay? You are baggage to me. And therefore, you're dead to me. Okay? You're hoping that I would be sucked into your religion because you could try to convince me and control me to think, well, we've got to forgive. I got to forgive. I don't have to forgive. I have to be aware. Okay? Forgiveness, they always say, forgiveness is for yourself. It is. You know what I mean? Meaning, I'm not going to hold myself responsible, but you need to be held accountable for your bullshit. Okay? I could sit here and try to retaliate, get in my car, go, do shit to your property or whatever. I can do petty things to try to get back at you. I could launch a hate campaign, or I could do whatever. I could take necessary measures to try to get even with you. I'm not going to waste my time. So in a form, that's kind of like forgiving. Because I want to move on. I want to move on. Okay? But I won't forget. No, I won't forget. Because to forget that people like you exist in the world would be foolish. It would be foolish for me to be blind and think that, just because a person says that they are Christian, that they're God-fearing people and they really try to live by higher level principles or whatever. Okay, I learned a lesson from this, and to forget that would be stupid. Okay, but I'm the kind of person, unlike most people who allow themselves to associate with people that are nothing but baggage to them, which I see this in a lot of relationships, okay? Friendships, marital relationships, siblings, whatever. They put up with this garbage. You know what I mean? I don't want to put up with it. Come what may, no matter what happens to me, I don't want to put up with it. Okay? I have no respect for you. Okay? And I kept thinking, wouldn't it be funny if they were so desperate? Like, because these people, they want to keep their enemies close. Because they're considering me their enemy, a frenemy. They might, like me to a certain degree now. But because they always feel as though that I'm better than them in their mind, they always want to sit here and knock me down a peg or two. Okay, this is their mindset. I don't want to deal with your shit. I don't want to remember you. There's no way in the world that... That's like loving the person that tried to kill you. Or loving the person that kind of raped you in a way. To me, there's nothing... To me, when you put somebody's house under surveillance and you let other people in on the private things that go on in a person's home, mine ain't nothing's going on here. Boring, right? But my point is that when you go home, you shut your door. All right? Shut your door. And you shut your door, and you shut your blinds, and you want your privacy, you want your space. Regardless of what you're doing. You could be baking cookies, you could be trimming your toenails, whatever it is you're doing. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing, but still, it's your private space. Okay? This is a part of the dehumanization. You don't care about my life. Oh, you were only investigating me so you could arrange my job. But you don't allow me to go out and find my own job. Because in your mind, people like me, that's not true. I've known people like me. Several examples of people like me. I can count several people like me. And some of the people you know. Okay? Because you've arranged their jobs or you were spying in or whatever. Some of these people you know. Okay? We're fine. We'd be fine. What most of the people had, wayward people in their life. Because, I look at myself and I didn't realize I was in that situation when I was younger. But now I see. I'll be back with part 2.